Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Scurbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And I'm continuing to do readings on the pandemic, going country by country. Of course, there are a lot of countries, so I'm not gonna reach all the countries. Um, yeah, so um, I think I was asked to look at Mexico, so I'll look at Mexico. And then perhaps I'll look at Canada. We'll look at either side of the U.S. here, and then if I have time, I'm going to look at Europe. What's going on in Europe? Probably it's Italy and Spain. So let's see. So this first reading is from Mexico, and of course Mexico is in an interesting situation because it is, everybody who wants to come to America from Central America pretty much has to go through Mexico. So Mexico has its own problems, and then it gets made worse by all the people who have to kind of walk through Mexico. Not that it's the people who walking through Mexico's fault. It's just the way, just geographical. That's the way it is. And of course, the border is closed now. So all those people who made their way up are now sort of sitting at the border in a soup of humanity, and they're like people without a country. Are the Mexicans supposed to take care of them? Certainly the Americans aren't going to take care of them. So it's really kind of a mess. So let's see, the pandemic, the COVID, sorry, I know what I'm talking about, COVID-19 in Mexico. All right, and I'm going to use, again, the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea, because it seems to work really well with this subject. Mexico. I have never been to Mexico, although I have a good friend who lives there. She's one of those people who retired to Mexico because she can live like a queen on her Social Security, and she'd be living hand to mouth here in America. And I know there are a lot of expats down there. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people. Um, we'll see. Mexico. Okay, so we have the Fool card as the first card. This is the immediate environment. So this says to me that they're in a situation they have never been in before. Of course, I think a lot of people feel that way. They're in a situation, excuse me a second, I had to unplug something, that they feel like they haven't been before. But for Mexico, it seems like it's a real leap of faith, a real leap of faith. I don't know if it's they don't know what they're getting into. Not that they're getting into anything. It's here, it's there, it's how do you react to it. But it seems like perhaps they're planning on doing something very novel. Okay, let's see what's crossing it. Okay, we have the Aeon. This is called the Aeon or Eon. Aeon, Eon, right? This is the Judgment card, and and it's crossing it. So I feel like on some level they've been hit unawares. Now I don't know anything about Mexico or what's going. I mean, Mexico in this situation. So I'm just going. This is completely sort of cold. This is a cold reading. Okay, and at the root we have the magician. Wow, this is quite interesting. The magician at the root. The magician here is called encapsulation. It's interesting name for the magician card, right? But the magician is about focused action, and it's about the ability to focus your energy. I could see how that would be considered an encapsulation of energy, right? But it's very so. At the root of this is Mexico's ability to focus on this. Um, let's see what's in the past. Okay, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and we have acquisition. A lot of medicine is made in Mexico. There's a lot of things made in Mexico. A lot of Americans go to Mexico for their medicine. It's considered, well, I mean, if you ask the American drug makers, they consider it subpar, but um, I'm not sure the patients feel that way. You know, I almost feel like they have some sort of the Nine of Pentacles in the past. I feel like they almost have some sort of something that we don't have. I don't know if it's a medicine or some sort of ability that we don't have because of all the sort of perhaps the red tape that we need to go through in the United States when it comes to drugs. Okay, let's see what's in the sky. The Ace of Wands. So new beginnings, opportunities. Wow. It's called stimulation. Let's see what's in the immediate future. Okay, we have the Seven of Swords. There's ambivalence in the immediate future. Who's ambivalent? Just take a look at this. I'm going to leave it and see what else comes up. So I'm not quite sure what that is. The Seven of Swords is generally somebody doing something that's not on the up and up. You know, somebody doing something behind somebody's back, um, dirty tricks, that kind of thing. How it's seen from the outside. You get the Hermit card. I don't know if people feel as though they're burying their head in the sand some way. The domestic situation. The Nine of Cups. This is a drunk guy in bed. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm not sure how seriously they're taking this. Hopes and fears. The Ace of Swords. This is called respiration. Uh, fear of the disease, right? Outcome. The Ten of Wands. We get oppression. Trying to keep all the everything in the air. Dropping them. Overwhelm. This is definitely overwhelm. These cards are very strange. Let's see if we can pick your major arcana. We have the Eight of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, and the Eight of Cups. Let's see what's underneath. We have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands. I want to say that there's the sense, this was my thought. All the cards initially were very strong, making me feel like there's a lot there in Mexico that we may perhaps not be aware of. A lot of opportunity, a lot of, actually a lot of good energy in a way, if they were to focus their intention. But I feel like then when you get into the future, it's like nobody's paying attention or nobody cares or the people who should care aren't caring, and it creates an overwhelmed situation. But underneath it all, we have the Queen of Wands, which is regeneration. I feel as though the feminine here is very important. I feel like there's perhaps a resurgence of the feminine. I feel like there's an energy. I almost feel like the grandmothers are coming together for this. And I don't know if that's a spiritual relationship, If it's something happening not on the physical plane, perhaps it's just something happening within the realm of spirit. I I feel like they're going to get divine help with this somehow. Wow, this is so I've done these readings on any number of countries, and none of them have come up like this. It's very interesting. So this is what I would say. If there are people there, and I don't know who's going to hear this, but I'll tell you what I'm getting. If there are people there who can do the magic that's necessary, focus the intention, focus the spiritual energies. Um, I don't know if it has something to do with the pyramids, with the Incans, with the Mayans. Perhaps the Mayans know something. Perhaps there's something in the jungle and it is an ancient wisdom or a prophecy about this that has certain people sort of ready and working it, while the normal sort of regular folk who are not connected to that, um, perhaps the politicians aren't doing their jobs, the people are drinking their sorrows away, and then everything comes and overwhelms them. But there's something else going on here, and I feel like it's very much a spiritual connection, and I feel it's an ancient spiritual connection. So I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this stuff, but that's what I'm getting. So let's leave it at that. um wow, that was an interesting reading. Okay, all right, let's see Canada. That was quick. If anybody knows about any of this that I'm talking about, has any clue what I'm talking about, I'd be happy to know, because I'm not sure I know. Wow, that was wild. Okay, so, oops, throwing the cards around. Excuse me a second. Excuse me while I throw my cards around. Let's do Canada. Um, I know Trudeau is in quarantine with his wife. I think he should be out of quarantine by now. Again, I haven't really been paying attention. Mainly because I've been doing other work and trying to keep myself sane in my house, which is not anything new to the coronavirus. Really. Oh God, for you folk who know what it's like to take care of an elderly parent in your own home. Um, all kinds of stuff, lack of sleep, trying to explain to them why you can't go out and get them their whatever it is they need. In my mother's case, she wanted pens and tape. My mother has a tape fetish. She's always had a tape fetish. She's always taped everything. I swear, I sometimes I think she was one of the scientists when they tried to get Apollo 13 to come down because they used duct tape. My mother was part of that. She really wasn't. She was being my mother in New Jersey at the time when that all happened. But she'd been right up there doing the tape stuff. But it's like, Mom, I can't go out and get your tape. You don't really need it. Why can't you go out? And then trying to explain to her about the virus without scaring the bejesus out of her, and then having her obsess over that. Luckily, her short-term memory is going, which is a blessing and a curse. But she remembers. People ask me, does she remember stuff? And I says, well, she never forgets anything that I've done wrong. So, all right, this is Canada. All right. Oh, goodness gracious. So we have the Knight of Swords here. It's called Penetration in this deck. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like body parts there. Body parts? Goodness gracious. The Knight of Swords is generally an energy where um, there's been action that has been erratic, well intended, but and well meant, but things don't work out so much. And it's interesting because this guy, while he has his feet and arms, this isn't his feet and arms floating around in the sky. He's actually dropped his sword. Can you see that? Sorry about this. I'm trying to get you to see that. And there's some sort of bird up there. Let's see what's crossing this. Okay, we have the Seven of Pentacles crossing it. Seven of Pentacles usually means that things aren't quite ready. Things aren't quite ready. See what's at the root? Okay, we have the Queen of Swords here. Um, I want to say that they were actually quick on the draw with this of the different countries. They were very quick to act. And we can see at the root here we have the Queen of Swords. She's up on a mountain top. She's kind of isolated. We can see that there's I guess it's a puma. Is that a cat or a dog? It's hard to tell. Can't really tell. Cat or dog, far away, trying to jump over the chasm. And it looks like either an eagle or a vulture above her head here. It's an eagle, I think. It's a black eagle. I feel like Canada's in a better position because somehow it acted to isolate this much quicker. And in their sort of fervor to isolate, perhaps some people got hurt. That Knight of Swords. Let's see what's in the past. We have the Three of Swords. This is heartbreak, but that's in the past. I don't know if they've had anything like this. It's called desolation. I don't know if they've had anything like this before that they would have experience. See what's in the sky? Okay, we have the King of Cups, so that's a good omen in the sky. The King of Cups is a ruler who cares about their people, who is spreading the healing energy. Let's see the immediate future. Oh goodness gracious, we have the Tower card. We have the Tower card. It's interesting. This is the first country to get the Tower card. So disaster. This is called attention. This is getting somebody's attention. How it's seen from the outside. The Six of Swords, like they're escaping. There's a sense of escaping something. Hopes and fears. The Eight of Cups. Seclusion. They're hoping. There's some sort of feeling of isolation here in almost all of these cards, save for the Tower. So I don't know if they feel like because of where they are, because of the actions they've taken, because they have a leader who seems to be considerate and of the people and trying to do their best, they might have a sense of safety that other countries do not have. Hopes and fears, the Magician. So they're hoping to encapsulate this. They're hoping that everything they've done up to this point is going to save them. The Outcome, equivocation. The Page of Wands. What is this? Oh, it's an armadillo. There's an armadillo down there. Can you see him? That's an armadillo. Equivocation. I feel like they have, to a certain extent, mitigated it. Let's see. Okay, we have the chariot as the major arcana pull. And the, what's underneath? The Five of Pentacles. Okay, so this is what it feels like to me. I feel like of all the countries that I've seen so far, Canada has the best, has had the best, taken the best actions to isolate, take it seriously, and it might very well be because Trudeau's wife caught it, and because somebody who was, you know, like the first lady would be like the first lady getting it, like things went into overdrive right away. And I think to a certain extent, it's actually helped them quite a bit. That being said, it doesn't mitigate the challenges that they're going to face, and I feel like the challenges they're going to face are financial. There's something about the way there's something about the economy and how it's going to affect their economy that perhaps they're not going to get as much sickness. They've sort of contained it to the best of anybody's ability. And so we might see less death and destruction from the actual virus, but where they're going to feel it is they're going to feel it financially. And of course, everybody's going to feel it financially. So it's not like they're being singled out. I just get the feeling that even if you do your best, your due diligence, uh, things are going to change anyway. You know what I mean? Things are going to change anyway. And they're part of, and while they're to a certain extent geographical isolation, because they are geographically isolated, uh, is in their favor because we live in a global economy, it's still going to be devastating for them. But I feel like it has more to do with devastation of the financial situations more than devastation. Um, and it is possible then it's, you know, devastation from the actual virus killing a lot of people, which of course it will. But I think maybe they've mitigated it to a certain extent because I feel like they sort of the world sees them as almost getting away with it, which of course they're not. I mean, nobody gets away with it. It's not really getting away. Maybe not getting away with it, getting away, period. Um, yeah, um, so this is very interesting. A very different energy than Mexico. Very different energy than Mexico. It's very interesting because Mexico felt very ancient and spiritual, and that was going to help them. And even though the people in power and folks weren't paying attention as well as they should, and Canada was very sort of quick to act in the sort of logical, sort of Western mind way, and it doesn't mitigate them to doesn't mitigate their experience, or at least their financial experience. And I think the lesson here, perhaps, and this is just supposition on my part, is that we have to stay connected to the earth. We are not separate from the earth. And this is perhaps a realization of, in a way, going back to the old ways. But just from the, and I'm saying that not necessarily that Canada is going to come to that realization, but me as somebody reading about Mexico and Canada coming to that realization. So I don't know. That's what it looks like. Wow, that was odd reading. Okay, well, everybody in Canada and Mexico, including my friend, um, who's down there, Elaine. Hi, Elaine. I know you probably don't watch me, but I do miss you. Yeah, guys, everybody stay safe. I think it's important that we do connect with um, our ancient knowledge and our ancient spirits. Maybe call in our grandfathers and our grandmothers and the what is being coined as the lineage holders. Those of us who hold the lineage of our ancestors in whatever healing ways that we can help to mitigate, move through this crisis, get to the other side of it, and then realize very quickly what needs to be done, how to get it, and stop fighting about who's right and who's wrong. Just do it, folks. All right, guys, like and subscribe. I'll see you soon. See you tonight for Astrology Kabbalah, for those of you who are joining Astrology Kabbalah of April. Take care. Bye.